guys, T2RX6 here, back for another Transformers related review, and today I'm going to show you one of the biggest pieces of crap that I've purchased in a long time. Today we're going to look at the X-transbots XP-1 Destroyer Upgrade. Thinking and winning do not mix. Interesting quote. Yeah. The box it's okay. It's a nice box. Can't read anything on it, really, but whatever. The XP-1 kit is X-transbots knockoff of the Crazy Devi set. Let's open up the box here. And it's a nice thick box, so everything inside will stay safe, and the box itself isn't too bad. Inside you get a poster with their artwork on it. You get some horrible instructions here that are way too small to see what's going on, but it's just Devastator. Now there is a part on here that did not fit at all, and I'm not the only one who I've seen who's reviewed this and had problems with it. Now keep in mind, my real Devastator, my G1 Devastator, is a knockoff, one of the high quality ones, and my G2 is actually the real one. I haven't tried this set on the G2. I figure we'll do that in the second half of this video. But yeah, for the knockoff Devastator, it has some problems, and I've seen people with the reissue Devastator have similar problems, so I don't think it's just the fact that it's a knockoff, even though Crazy Devi, there is some differences in the knockoff. You also get this card here that is clear and see-through, I guess, if you like that. It's like a blister pack paper. It's really, or plastic, it's really nothing interesting. And then inside you have everything laid out. You have the drum, the neck connector, the head, the arms, the legs, the gun, a waist piece, and the chest shield. So let's pull them all out. You got the chest shield, you got the waist piece, you've got the gun, and the gun does come apart like this. I'm not sure what the purpose of that would be, but it does it. You've got, and this is where I was real disappointed when I started pulling out these fists. As you'll see here, I'm missing a finger, the tip of a finger here, because the way these stupid fingers hold on, well, I've since used some nail polish to make them more sturdy and stick better, which has helped. But yeah, they basically, if you don't do anything to them, for instance, here's this one here, we'll show you. See how it's just gonna slide right out? Like, there's really nothing holding these things in place. It doesn't snap in or anything like that. So if you buy this set, you're gonna do this and it's gonna fall out. The other thing that disappointed me is, listen to this. Yeah, I opened it up and there's some random black piece of plastic in there. I kind of was hoping it was my spare finger, but no. So right out of the box, I've got a 4-finger Devi, if you count the thumb, a finger, either that or 3 fingers and a thumb, whichever you prefer. So the only thing you can really do to kind of mask that is keep it closed, because it doesn't look quite so bad, I guess. But that was a huge disappointment right out of the box. You have, of course, the other hand. It's worth noting, these also pull out. The old stuff doesn't really fit very well, so I don't really know why. Maybe on the Crazy Devi release it works with like his drill attachments and stuff, but not this version. You get the waist piece, which is probably the nicest piece in the whole set. And I'm going to show you the articulation now, because it's really not very good on Devastator. So you can bring them to the side, you can make Devastator do a split if you want. You can rotate at the upper thigh, you've got knee on both, and of course full range of movement there. Now I wanted to show you this now because as much as this set is supposed to improve articulation on Devastator, it just doesn't, and I'll show you that after. You get the purple mixing barrel. I haven't put this on. You have to take Mixmaster apart a little bit to put it on. And then of course you've got the top part here, which has the swivel at the bottom, give them awkward waist rotation. And you have a head, and I rather like this head. It's a pretty nice looking head, and it does have an LED gimmick in it. And it looks okay. I mean, clearly the light is on the left side. In person doesn't look quite like it does on video, but it still would have been nicer to have it centered a little bit better, or some kind of light diffuser to make the whole visor light up just as nice. And from that angle it's pretty cool. And they do have in the visor, like molded in, I think in the back, like eyes basically, so that way when it's lit up you can kind of see his eyes. But it's a pretty nice head. And that is everything. And I've opened this up and looked for a finger, and absolutely nothing. So I'm gonna go ahead and break apart the knockoff Devastator first, and we'll look at him and we'll go from there. Okay, so I have Devastator broken up as much as I need to have him done, and I guess we'll just get started here, and I'll point out the flaws as we get to them. So the most solid piece you get are the legs, so let's do them first. And I do like the connection they have. It's a real simple connection here. You can see it's designed to slot right on over that there and press on in pretty nicely, so that does give him some pretty nice legs. Now in terms of Mixmaster, it's similar. You're gonna get this tab to go inside there by positioning, and then you just kind of squeeze it together, and that is a really solid connection. They're not going anywhere, and I do like that. So you see we have some good legs for a basis there, and this does make him a fair bit taller than his, you know, regular incarnation. So now what you're gonna do, like the waist piece used to peg in here, instead of going like this, you're gonna actually just peg long haul into this tab here to look like that. And once we start adding pieces, you can see the legs become a whole lot less stable as they want to tilt backwards. Just takes the weight of long haul. And then we're gonna add, obviously gonna be adding Hook to the mix, who has his crane boom pulling him backwards. And as you can see at this point, I can't get him to stand because of that right there. So there's our first problem, is that we have virtually no articulation, even though it's a set design for articulation, because he's just not going to stand. So I'm just going to hold him up by hand here, and we're going to come to this piece. Now you can see these are at two different levels. That's because the holes aren't drilled the same properly. So there's another problem, which means that this one here is hanging back a lot further, which is actually going to limit some of his articulation. But regardless, you take this and you push it in here. Now I can't even pretend to understand why this is a different color than the other green, because logic would say they should be molded together, but they obviously weren't, because it's a completely different green than the rest of the figure. So that is another problem with this guy. And man, I just can't get him to stand. This is really frustrating. So imagine my dismay when I open this up and start having these problems. Okay? So let's put this to the side. We'll use the ever so carefully standing Generation 2 Devastator to hold him up. And Devastator is not known for being able to stand very well. But yeah, this guy is even worse. So we'll take the head here, and it's like I said, it's a nice head, but it's also painted, so it's definitely going to show spots if you have problems with it. You have to clip this on. Now, if you look inside there, you can see it's all carved away. That is because without doing that, this head assembly would not fit on Hook at all. So I had to take a Dremel and actually create recesses and stuff, and even now it still doesn't go on right, but you couldn't even get this on at all. When you would put it on, previously you could get it about to there, which is pretty far back for his head, and it certainly doesn't hold hook together in any way. So by carving out that recess, I was able to make it so it would flex a little more, and I could push it all the way in now. And you shouldn't have to do that, and that's the one thing that, you know, maybe that's different because this is a knockoff Devastator set, but like I said, the commemorative edition that I've seen online by islip, he actually had the same problems. I think I'll link his video too, because it's pretty convincing proof on both a knockoff and a real set that this set's just not worth buying. So once you have this, you can now come back to our main bot here, and just like you used to, just plug this all in. Whoops. And you can see just the way that this is all held together is just really shoddy. And once this is on like that, you can now take our improved chest piece assembly, which doesn't hold hook together any better. It should, but it doesn't. And we can put that on. And finally he's standing a little bit. And that's about the only pose you're gonna get out of him. So let's come to our hands here, and let's go with this one first. This one I didn't have to do any modifying to because it came out of the box the right size. So you can take it, you can only kind of hold his gun with it. Like if there is some kind of peg or something to hold it tighter, it'd be great, but there's really nothing, and the gun is pretty heavy. It just like loosely wobbles there. His fists aren't tight enough to hold this. There's no peg, there's nothing to keep the fist on in to grip it better. Like, it's just, I'm not even gonna bother with this because you can't even do anything with that. It's such a waste. So that slides on, and check out the awesome arm articulation you've now given Devastator. Ready? So yeah, we're adding improvements by just letting him have an arm that limply hangs down. Now this arm, notably, didn't fit at all, so I had to Dremel this out. Unfortunately, in the process of Dremeling it out, I have made the hole a little too big, so I've got to fix it. But whatever, it has about the same ability to pose and hang in place as the other arm, and that's hardly anything at all. So let's see if I can at least get it on there. There you go. So he can stand limply like this and have all these pieces fall off. This is just, it's horrible, guys. In terms of size, yeah, it gives you, I'd say, about another 1.5 inches total. Maybe less than that, actually. No, probably about 1/2 inch overall height. He does look a lot better with these, but it's so worthless with these hands. I'm probably gonna try to see if I can, you know, get them to stay on a little bit better with some clear nail polish and stuff, but oh, it's just so frustrating. And all you can do is just kind of hang there limply. Like, there's no posing with this thing. So, I don't know. I'm gonna take this guy apart. I'm gonna put him back into his regular Devastator form. And I'm gonna take the G2 apart, and we're gonna see if anything works better with an official Hasbro release. Okay, so here we go with an official Hasbro release, and let's see if that works any better. Granted, the colors are gonna be off, but whatever, it'll get the point across, right? And this is another thing that really bothers me, is that the top pieces here, you know, like, to be straight on, should be out a little more, but there's no way to rotate them at all. So if you want these pieces to line up, Devastator is always going to end up being a little pigeon-toed, and I don't like that. Whatever. Let's not complain about that anymore, I guess. We'll just put this together and get this done so I can put this back in its box and never look at it again. Incidentally, I probably will keep the X-transbots one until the Junkion Blacksmith version that I ordered will eventually show up. It's in my pile of loot, but I'm not shipping that for a while. So when that comes, I'll probably compare the two, and then I'll probably get rid of this X-transbot one because it's awful. Put it on eBay and try to get $5 for it, I'd be happy. Oh, notably, the Junkion Blacksmith one is cheaper than the $50 price tag. This one poorly commands. Okay, so we're on to the head, and does it fit better? No, if I didn't do my cut, it fits better with the cut now than my old one did. Than the knockoff version one does, but it still wouldn't have fit without the cut that I had to make. But now that it has the cut, it has a lot more solid of a connection than even the other one, so that's at least a plus. Put on the chest shield here. Who knows, maybe I'll keep this X-transbot one and just use the head and stuff, because I really do like the head sculpt on this. So we'll plug this back in, and I also think this waist articulation is really stupid. Notably also, long haul really doesn't want to stay on this peg here, so it's already not really working very well with a real one either. Let's take the hand. And nope, doesn't fit. Feel bad throwing that because I just threw my G2 hook and scrapper. Nope. Let's try one more time with this off. Nope. There you have it, guys. Don't waste your money on it. See ya.